our eyes in top shape is important, no matter our age. One disorder that can even happen to young adults is the thinning of our cornea. It's called keratoconus. Now, where once corneal transplants were the only option, a minimally invasive procedure is now showing great promise. Dr. Barker from Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens is here to talk all about this. So first of all, let's talk about what exactly is keratoconus.
Keratoconus, you got it right.
Yeah, okay, good.
Good job. Tricky word, but what it means is it's a thinning of the cornea, the front surface of our eyeball. We all have a cornea here. The cornea is important to be clear.
Yeah.
When it's clear, you can see. If it was cloudy like the sidewall, you wouldn't see anything.
Is it like the windshield of our eye, the cornea? Okay.
Exactly.
So if it's not clear, so what is happening with this?
With keratoconus, you're having a progressive thinning of the cornea, and that can happen for a lot of reasons, some genetic, some related to allergies, eye rubbing, but that thinning keeps progressing and getting worse and worse and worse, making the vision very distorted ultimately, and only repairable surgically with a transplant in its worst shape and form.
Okay, and this can happen to even kids, you say?
Yeah, usually we are seeing it in children, young adults. Usually it's under 30 when we start to see it manifest.
Ooh.
And by the time you're 50, you've usually already needed a transplant. A lot of these patients wear strong contact lenses too, very strong, hard contact lenses or scleral lenses, which fit on the surface of the eye as a scaffold or cast.
And to hold it in, because the eye, like the cornea is literally becoming cone-shaped, right?
Like a cone. Like the name.
Okay. All right. So two main solutions are traditional and non-surgical. Let's break them down.
Yeah. So the traditional only method for years and years was to do a transplant. That's where you take the front surface of the cornea out and you replace it with a new cornea from someone else's tissue.
Okay.
So usually it's donated eye bank tissue.
Okay.
We can prevent that by doing a procedure called cross-linking. Cross-linking is where you're bathing the surface of the eye in a vitamin called riboflavin, which is in our diet.
Yeah.
And then using ultraviolet light to cause a cross-linking to happen in the chemical bonds of the cornea. Think of like a basket. If a basket's woven together with just parallel weaves, it's going to be very weak. But if you cross it together, that's much more strong and rigid.
That's where the cross-linking comes in.
Right.
Okay, this is really fascinating. So the ultraviolet light hits the riboflavin, and that creates the basket weave of the cornea.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I love when y'all come here and tell me this stuff. So does it seem like there's any pros and cons to this procedure? But there always are. So what are the pros and cons?
Yeah, so with the transplant surgery, there were a lot of cons. Number one, that's someone else's tissue. You have to be on anti-rejection drops the rest of your life. There's usually a lot of stitches in your eyeball.
The rest of your life?
Yeah, stitches in your eyeball, and you still have to wear contacts afterwards. With cross-linking, especially if we can catch the disease early before it progresses, you can freeze and stop the progression in its tracks. That'll keep a patient from losing their vision ultimately and make it where they never need a transplant.
No kidding.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of downside to doing cross-linking. The earlier you do it, the better. The sooner you diagnose the problem, the better it is to get treatment.
Especially if it's a kid you're talking about, because they're not putting drops in their eyes regularly. Like this is really important.
Yeah.
What is the experience like for the patient, speaking of?
It's pretty simple. It's a lot longer than LASIK is. LASIK's like a 5-minute procedure. This is different. This is about an hour-long procedure, but it's mainly just drops in the UV light. There's not any needles or blood or scalpels or any of that crazy stuff like you'd see with a transplant. So it's much simpler for patients. We sedate you for it, so you're nice and comfortable for that hour. But it's mainly just a lot of drops in UV light.
Okay, if you told me no scalpel, no nothing, just drops in UV light and you're sedating me, I mean, sign me up.
Right.
That sounds relaxing almost.
It's pretty simple, yeah.
Okay, all right. So why should someone choose Sharp Vision?
Yeah, at Sharp Vision, one of the reasons we brought this into our practice was to help with patient advocacy. This is a sight-saving procedure. This is not like LASIK or premium lenses that we've talked about before on the show. This is important for prevention of problems down the road. So we're here to advocate for patients to have that. There's not many practices and docs in the entire Pacific Northwest that offer this procedure, but it's a necessary procedure. Insurance rarely covers it as well. Thankfully, it's getting a little bit better over time.
Oh, that's good.
But because of that poor insurance coverage, we're here to advocate for all of our patients to get their benefits if they have them.
That's amazing. I would appreciate that, seriously. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure talking to you, learning about this. I'd never heard of it before this, so I'm so glad we got to discuss this.
Yeah, great to see you again.
Absolutely. And you can schedule a free comprehensive consultation online at sharp-vision.com. It's right there on your screen. Write it down. We'll also have a link on our website.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens.